humans are babies. As beings, as a species, we are babies. Like nature and the ground, they communicate themselves. They exchange information. When you plant a tree, you will not be alive to see it grow. We will plant seeds in social ways, in cultural ways like that. I want to defy sexuality. I want to defy gender. I want to defy the system. Like I see myself as a Troy horse. We humans are babies. As beings, as a species, we are babies. Like I love to work with stone because stone cannot take only decades or centuries or millions of years to form. It could take more. So for what we know, for example, humans have been in this place for like 5,000 years, like 10, maybe more. Like for what we don't know, like that's nothing in the universe. That's nothing in terms of materiality. So that gave me a lot of hope to deal with actually the current state of how we're, wars, people fighting for religion, for power, for like money, like capitalistic, like, all this shit, honestly. Sorry. And it gave me a really like bigger perspective, understanding. Of course we're still struggling with this because we're learning, because we're still in the process. And that, honestly, that idea, it's like, I'm like, it was a, you don't have, you like, Maria, you don't have no idea how many weights I took myself out understanding, or at least believing that. Like it was amazing. So I love to always come back to nature because I think nature is the answer. Like internet, for example, it's basically a technology that we don't use properly. I guess we're getting there, but we use internet to still feed a capitalistic, consumeristic, or egotistical system. But I mean, I love to do social media. I love to post shirtless pictures. Like I play the game. I'm part of the problem, as I was telling you. But also we are the solution. But I think that internet is so. It's like, I mean, it's a weird way to say it, but it's like an alien thing technology. It's something that it's out of our understanding. I think that internet can help us to understand better our minds. As like right now I'm connecting to you, you are in a whole different place. Internet is like the mycelium from fungi, like this kingdom. Trees communicate. I mean, and this is not me telling you, it's Paul's statements. There's many studies right now that proves this. But nature and the ground, these beings that are attached to the planet, they communicate themselves. They exchange information through a web that is mycelium from fungi. It's the internet. It's of nature. So it's like, wow, we have that. And also something really crazy to know is that in the current world, without internet, for example, if we met in person, even if we are like 2 centimeters close, I will never get to fully know the real you, the genuine Maria, because maybe you will not tell me some thoughts, some ideas, because how blah blah, because maybe you don't even understand yourself, and I think that's something, a constant change. Yeah. So it's crazy to think that we will never fully know someone, like fully, because we don't have their own minds. But internet has helped us a lot to understand much more that, and to connect with emotions, to expressions, to ideas through this thing. So yeah, I don't know, I just think that the idea of creating pieces, designs, or just things that resonate in people and reflect nature is the main purpose of all of this. It's like remembering us, where do we come from, like why are we here, like it's like there's no casual that we're in this planet, like if you do your ancestral mathematics, how many humans had to live so you can be here. It's a whole different perspective on how you approach life, I guess. For example, so funny because I started my day today saying, I could die today. How am I gonna live my day? For example, I'm crazy. Yeah, that's like, but I could die today. How am I gonna live my day if this was the last day of my life? And I came to this idea because I was approaching that, like a really stressful thing, and I'm like, that I don't need to take life too seriously. Like let's get out of our heads and connect to something bigger, I guess.
No, that's such a philosophical perspective. It's so refreshing, to be honest, because I feel like also I love your analogy with like, the stones and how they've been here for a while and we're here just like, tourists basically. But talking about stones, do you have like a favorite ones you like to work with the most? Or
Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, oh my God, it's like choosing your kids. It's like it's so difficult. I would say it depends on. I could say generally, I like to work with marble because marble it's not that soft, so it's not that fragile, but it's not that harsh as a granite or a volcanic stone. So it's kind of like in the middle level of how to intervene it and work with it. So I like it because of that, but it depends on the approach. For example, I started to work with onyx like since last year, and I hated this stone. It's like I was like, this, it's like it's a glass of stone. It's so fragile. But that was so interesting because then you have to have an engineering of how you have to intervene this stone. The material has its properties, so you have to be conscious about it so you can understand how it works. And I love how the light travels to this stone. So I was hating at the beginning, and now I'm obsessed with it. It's like so beautiful. So right now I have a strong connection with onyx. It has been a really good like lesson, let's say. So marble and onyx, will say right now are my faves.
That's a very beautiful, like, how it started for you, how you hated it, basically coming from hate to love and now appreciating it. And do you have any like artists or like other creators or perhaps masters you are inspired by?
Yes, I mean, not specifically sculptors, but for example, there have been amazing minds, in the human history. Richard Serra, like, is a huge inspiration. Isamu Noguchi, um, Brancusi, like, you know, these people that defied what was accepted, or like how was conventionally seen, like they're like, oh honey, no thank you, I'll do this. I love that. It's like they have been a huge inspiration. But honestly, my huge master is nature. Like honestly, like it's like I mean, I would love to say that it's a human, but no. Like it's the idea that I have of nature, it's so inspiring. Like
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I think also like nature's been out there forever and have you thought about, so say in many years, right? Like your works, like what would you want to be like your legacy? Like how would you want to be?
Uh, honestly, I haven't think too much about it because then it fits my ego. So I'm like, okay, let's go there. But if you ask me now, I would love to be part of a a school for crafting, like arts crafting, here in Ensenada specifically, because the place where I live, Ensenada, Mexico, is a young city, and there's many lack of culture, let's say, and arts like field. So I think it will be an amazing impact in the society and the people here. Also, in this world where AI is like so crazy, and I mean it's amazing, but it really will be challenging for the human world to adapt to it because we can keep the rhythm. I think that getting back to these, to value things that are made by tools, like really like something that a machine cannot really like translate. That's something really unique and more in these days. So getting back to ancient crafts is like getting back to our ancestors and getting back to where we should, like I think I like that. I would love to do installation. I mean, I'm doing now, honestly, installations like big scale. I'm doing for my team and I, we're doing for a project in Vallarta in Mexico, a sculpture of 8 meters, like high. It's a building, and it's a stone and metal. Like I love that. Like as I was telling you, Richard Serra and like Isamu, which have been a huge inspiration because I love like how you can create with a material a new space or a new way of, when you interact with that thing, it's like you are in another world. Oof, that's something that I would like to. And also, honestly, I want to be remembered, now that you're telling me, as someone rebel, as someone who was like the whole opposite of how things should be. I'm like, no, I want to defy that. I want to defy sexuality. I want to defy gender. I want to defy the system. Like, I see myself as a Troy horse.
Mm.
That makes sense, but I understand how this world goes. At least, well, not understand. I'm understanding. I'm trying. I don't fully understand. Uh, I play the game, but I think that you can really change the game when you're in the inside. So I'm having fun with it. Of course, I'm young. I'm 25. Like, I'm working in my emotions and everything. But I know that if there's a mission there, and by doing and having this opportunity to be connected in different parts of the world by exhibitions and this technology and internet, like blah, 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 you create a voice. So I think that I want to use that voice to challenge people, like to question themselves, to provoke consciousness. That's my main motivation. And if I die doing it, I know that it will create a bigger impact. So I'm like not afraid of it. Like, in a political way, I would also be like, I want to be involved in a way just to shake things there. Like, our world leaders should be people that are close to nature, like, for example, I don't know if you have ever heard a shaman.
I know the word like shaman, like the people who are this
For
yeah.
example, these people are really wise. It's amazing. It's their motive and their purpose of living is not ambitious and power or money like our world current leaders. It's a whole different perspective. It's more like a community. It's like integrity. It's like nature. It's like, I think that the people that are in these positions should be those, not the ones that we have right now. So I don't know. I just think that I have a lot of opinions, and recently I'm working in like this character because I'm creating a new character in my whole like catalog of personalities. And this character, you will see it in social media soon. But it's a little bit sassy. It's like really sarcastic, like playing dumb, but in a really smart way. Like, and by doing that and through my sculptures and my art, it will be like a whole, like, I don't know, at least I'm having fun with it. Maybe it's super crazy, but
It's
that's
not. I love how it's fascinating to me how you find the way to communicate really deep things through the various channels and mediums. And I think that's quite fascinating. And do you have, so you said there are not many like museums or galleries you can go to, but I'm sure the nature is, as you said, remarkable. Like,
if you love nature, I think Mexico is an amazing place because it's so diverse. Like, it's so huge, just as America. It's huge. It's right, like, so. Yeah, I think that the biggest museum we have in here is nature. Exactly, it's the ocean, it's the mountains. But in terms of institutions, like, there's just like one or two museums, and there's like no activations. There's like one gallery. Like, there is not such projects that are questioned, but it's just starting. Everything is like, I know many creatives now that are young or old. Like, everything they're doing is stuff now in Ensenada, so it's like a really interesting stage that we're entering now. But yeah, I think that not only here, in any place in the world, like, being able to have this intention, I guess, to understand, for example, that when you plant a tree, you will not be alive to see it grow, and that's a really wise way to perceive life, because we will plant seeds in social ways, in cultural ways, blah, blah, and we will not see maybe the result of the tree and the fruit, but our next generations will. So I think that's really interesting. And if we do things knowing this from a place of love, or at least aligning this idea that we have of love, it will create this world a better place. And that's exactly what we need, like since 2000 years ago.
That's so wise. I'm like fascinated. I know how you came to all this realizations in such a fairly, like
I,
young.
I can tell you, and I don't know if you want to place it in the interview, but I do think that we come more than once to this human experience. I don't believe in the concept that we're just a miracle in this ocean of matter. No, I do believe that we are beings, we're spiritual beings, or any kind of whatever you want to place it, beings that we're playing to be humans.
Mm.
So by saying that, I don't know if you have ever had or get into the concept of past lives, but I definitely know that this has not been my first life. So it makes a lot of sense to, like, since I receive constantly these comments, oh my God, you're 20, like, oh my God, like and it's amazing. But I'm like, yeah, but it's just something that comes automatic. I'm telling you, it's not me. Like, Andres is just a character, it's just a bridge. Like, it's a huge energy or something that it's just going through me and many other people in the world, that our mission in here is to help, is
Mm.
to expand our consciousness. Is that, for example, I have no goals, honestly. Like, I don't have a goal of having a family. I don't have a goal of having a house. The only thing that I know, Maria, and that I want to do is to help people and enjoy it and spread this idea of love. I know that you're the interviewer, but I would love to make you a question to complement this. Could you please tell me, for you, what is love?
Well, I'd say probably for me, it's when you feel it in everything.
I understand that. I think that love is something so easy to feel, but so difficult to explain, because words can't just explain what actually is love, like. So I think that love, or this idea we have of love, is divine,
Mm.
and it's really out of our understanding, but we are able to connect with this energy, this feeling, this idea, whatever. We hear love so many times in our, like, the concept of love so many times in our life, that we get used to it, and I don't think we really fully understand what's love. But love is so powerful. Like, it's like so fire, and like the end and the beginning of everything, like, yeah.
That's so true. So when you find yourself in a really dark place, which I mean, it maybe not that dark that you were in, but like we all keep having this, you feel down or you like depressed, anxious, upset. Like, what do you do? How do you find your way out of this state?
I'm gonna tell you. I think that since I was a child, the constant feeling that I had, it was sadness, on being uncomprehended, and just like anxious and nervous all the time. I'm telling you, I have these memories as I'm 4 years old. Like, it's not nothing like, no. I know that I was like that since I have so many present memories, because they felt traumatic. My brain, like, leave it there. So as I was growing up, I got into 16, 17, and then I connected with the idea of suicide, like killing myself. And the way that I want to do it is making it look like it was an accident. So my mom and my brother wouldn't know that their child and his brother suicide himself, because they wouldn't stop blaming themselves. And while I was like thinking in all the ideas, because I tried to do it twice, I never got into it. But when I was about to, the only thing that anchored me is the love that I was feeling for my mom and my brother, because I didn't want to hurt them. So I'm like, okay, there's something that it's keeping me here, and it's not maybe for me, but it's for them. So being like having this disposition on, I'm not doing this life for myself, I'm doing it for others, for the people that I care the most. It gave me a lot of motivation. That's one thing. I, I start to go to therapy, blah blah blah. I was 17, because I fully decided to commit to this thing, and I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna try to really don't like appreciate life and blah, I'm gonna fully try. I went to therapy from since I was 17 till 21. That I did 20. I did experience of the ayahuasca. I had my therapeutic process while, I was downloading all the information from this experience. But I had therapy with this person that I love, super amazing. But until I was 22, and I felt a point that I was not. I felt again these suicidal thoughts, like they came again, and I'm like, then I'm so fucked up. I'm like, I can't work with this. Like, I've been to therapy for years, and I'm still struggling with this. I have no remedy. Like, again, these negative things started to come. What really helped me deal with everything, one, is studying my mind. That's one thing. Like, studying why I do believe in the way I believe, realizing that many of the ideas that I have in my mind are not mine, like, are ideas from others, knowing that I can reprogram my system of beliefs. At the end of the day, I see our minds as computers. We are codes, we're programs. So, fourth thing, at the end of the day, we are biochemistry. Translated to a physical thing, we are biochemistry. The thing that you call habit, the thing that you call idea, the thing that you call your way of being, oh, this is how I am, is a neuronal structure. It's a design of the brain that makes you be the way that you are and think the way you are. But there's something called neuroplasticity, rebuild new neuronal webs connections, and that's how you translate it to a new perspective. So for me, understanding that each one of us in these millions of humans, that I kind of think we're a virus, but that's the main comment. I'm kidding. Each one of us has a unique perspective. Even if we agree in some points, we don't have the same perspective. I'm like, wow, so I can change my perspective. I can connect with a different perspective. Of course, that was so helpful. And fifth, that it's the most important, is that everything is connected. Is that I'm part of the whole. Is that there's no such thing as good or bad. It's a whole thing. Life is not good, is not bad. Life is not white or black or short or big or tall. Life is, and that's it. And the thing, knowing that we give the interpretation and the adjectives to everything that we have in front of us, make me realize that I'm like, okay, I have these two analogies that I would love to give it to you, because maybe they help you for anything. So I have two questions for you, but we'll get there. Life for me is this table. Okay. So in the table, we have two plates. In these plates, you have your favorite food. That is
Dates.
something.
The
Dates.
date. Yeah.
Dates. I love dates. You have dates. These giant dates are like so delicious, and they're like in their point. You have that. And in the other dish, in the other plate, you have poop. But like this poop of diarrhea, like really like horrible, like with traces of blood, like horrible, disgusting. Life, when you go through life, whatever you're having fun, you can be in a party, you can have fun, you can be in a vacation, or you can be in a crisis, you can be in a tornado. You can choose what to eat. I don't want to tell you that you should eat something because that's how it's have to be. No, it's about being intelligent. If you eat dates, you feel good. It makes you nice. Your body nutrients. It's like it's a whole thing. You enjoy. You have fun. You're in your present. You anchor yourself here. But what happens when you eat shit? First of all, it's horrible. What the fuck, like you. But it's also toxic for your body. I think that because of how we're taught to live in automatic and not conscious, we eat shit super constant, and we're not even aware that we're eating shit. But when you realize that you have the power to choose dates, it's like, okay, of course, I don't want this thing. I want to eat dates, even if I'm having a crisis. Like, yeah, that's one, and that's one analogy. The other one that is helping me a lot. Have you ever surfed?
Try, and I've never surfed.
Amazing. You should, by the way. Just trying. But surf, I don't practice surf. I wanted to do it, then I had a knee injury. But the most amazing things that I learned from surf is that, for example, let's say that you go and okay, now you are there, you have in your beautiful neoprene, like this thing, you have your tape, everything, your surfboard, and you are already in the ocean ready to surf. If you would wait until the wave comes as how you want it, in beautiful, like peaceful, like this size, like blah, 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 you will never surf because that's not how this thing works. It's life, it is how it is. You accept it, you accept the waves, and you try to go. And like, but you fall, you go back. You die, well, you died, honey. Like, like, but you tried. And I think that we're so conditioned to think that life should be in a specific way. That, oh, I need this, oh, I want this. And that limit ourselves to fully comprehend everything. It's sometimes we're like horses in races, like, no, no, no. No, sometimes we just need to contemplate. And well, that was the fifth, but there's a sixth thing that helped me, and it's getting out of my head. I realized that I was spending a lot of time in my head, like think about the past, think about the future, think about work, these things, how do people perceive me, my mom, like blah blah blah. I'm like, shh, I need to be present. How am I present? Getting out of my brain, not thinking of how things should be. Like, it's just breathing, understanding what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a TV. I'm seeing a glasses. I'm not trying to interpret if a glass is good or not. I'm just seeing things. Then what am I hearing? You're hearing my horrible voice. You're maybe hearing some cars or the wind going through your window. You're maybe hearing something. You're starting to be conscious of what. And then what else? You start to feel how you feel in your body. If you imagine yourself being scanning your body, you will start to feel maybe some tension in your knee. Or if you do this, for example, you start to, start to feel yourself. That
Yeah.
this anchored you to the present moment. Because I'm telling you, we are a lot like, oh, past, future, mind, work, money. Like, no. I think that being aware that, as we were telling in the beginning, we don't know shit and we don't know what are we doing here, and just trusting that everything is for a reason. You just do the best you can with whatever you have in front of you, and that's the only thing to do. That's something that helped me a lot to deal with life. And every time that I'm having these negative things, I even sometimes need to scream it, but I'm like, not here. And I tell myself, not here, like, leave me alone. And I can even put a name to it. It's Brenda. To these boys, shut up, Brenda, like, leave me alone, like, everything will be fine. And if it's not, well, I will do it with my ass in front of it. No worries, like, so yeah.
Andres, you're like unbelievable because I'm listening to you and I'm like, well, first I want to like series of talks with you because you do sound like a spiritual teacher. I would just like sit here and listen and be like, yeah, now I also name my anxiety some name, whatever. So whatever it
Yes,
comes, I would be like, leave.
leave me alone, like,
Exactly. Leave me
like,
alone.
if it was someone telling you things like, hey, shut up, because maybe a lot of these ideas are not yours. And I'm sure they're not yours.
Yeah.
I think there's something that we don't understand, and it's called intuition.
Mm.
So sometimes, you do things and you feel natural that it's the way to do it. Hear that. You need to hear that voice, not this fucking Brenda. Like,
Right. No, you're so right about to your point, that everything has happened for a reason. It's so funny because I was just like this last few days, I felt like so down and so bad, and it's to your point for no reason. And here you are, explaining all of those things. And that's probably
no,
one of the last questions for you is that very intuitive, but where people can find you, like, can they stop by the studio or like to touch your art? Maybe there are like some galleries or.
honestly, I'm going to say a little bit something controversial, so you can even talk about it because I'm going to talk about it in the future. But I'm starting to reevaluate my relationship that I have with galleries, because I think that modern galleries are not galleries. They're just businesses that want to have, it's their shops. So I have constantly heard with colleagues and people that are surrounding the art and design world, they have this constant like discussions with galleries. So I'm starting this new exploration of not working with galleries, but being fully like
On your own.
in depth.
Mhm.
Even I don't sell, I don't care. You know, like it's not about the money, it's not about exchange, it's more about being coherent and trusting ourselves. Even maybe I'm going into a cliff by doing it, but I am trusting myself. And if I go to a cliff, well, then I'm gonna spread my arms open. You know, like I think that the ways I would love to see myself in museums. I like museums. I have nothing against them. I have no critics yet, but I would love to see myself in the future in museums. So I hope that this is closer. In fact, oh yeah, and you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Empire State. Well, I'm gonna have an exhibition with a foundation called World Stars that they're doing charity event, and they invited me to design like a bottle in glass. So it's gonna be exhibited in the Guggenheim Museum. It's gonna be my first like thing related to museum.
That's
really
huge.
small.
Congratulations.
So let's meet if we are around. Because I know that you're also crazy like you travel a lot, but they're here in Ensenada. My studio is open for everyone. Like, I mean, no one comes here, so I never receive visits. But yeah, of course, you can find in my studio. I still work with some galleries. I work with Filia. It's a gallery that believe in me since the beginning. So yeah, even with my perspective and my polemic thing that I was telling you, I sell my works through them. I also sell my work to Freeman Gallery that is from Australia, and I'm starting to work with other like interesting galleries, but more like in terms of design, not like art. Also, in just like mentioning in September 30, I have an exhibition with Filia as well. It's going to be in Florence, but it's a project that we're doing with Shifting Vision that they have commanded the Medici Archive project. So we're doing. They invite us to see 6 artists. I'm the only one that is Latin American. All the other ones are or European or Asian, but it's a bodies of work inspired on the Medici family. So this is gonna be like a huge thing. It's gonna be like exposure, blah blah blah. So I want to talk about colonialism, like stuff that are interested for Europeans that come to these places and like go to lands. Like, that's super interesting. So yes, those are the things I'm doing now, and that's it. Like get out of your head sometimes. Don't take life too seriously. Trust that everything will be okay, and if it's not okay, well, have fun with it, and do like.